Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kurojiri, your resident tinker and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Now this week, it looks like we're going to be taking just a brief step backwards away from the anime tie-in event and collaboration, but still not quite lowering or slowing down our momentum as we veer closer and closer toward Medarot Day. Roughly about a little over 2 weeks now at official time at recording on November 14th, but it still is going to be a very exciting week all the same. Nothing overly special or powerful or game-breaking this week, but we do have a brand new face joining us, as you see here, designed by none other than the legendary Fujioka Kenki sensei himself, who also was responsible for out-of-the-park designs such as Kroit's Bison and Gothic Mate, among other numerous designs all through the Medarot series through its franchise through its history. But with that being said, we still do have a number of other nice events to tie in as well to help keep the engagement and the interactivity going through this relatively slower week as we amp up closer toward the anniversary. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what was announced for this week, starting of course with the gacha banners. And I think you guys are going to be very relieved to hear we don't have a whole lot of them this week, thankfully, as a way that you can help pool your resources toward other models or other resources in the meantime. But to highlight that, our newcomer is NAS-05 Charles de Nurse with a kit of Perfect Guard, Field Repair, Revive, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of White Mage. Now this is the first ever instance of White Mage being implemented on a permanent bot, permanent as in game at any time, but it is a pickup banner. The previous one being Geha Chapin from the Cyborg Kuro-chan collaboration, and the first ever instance of that on a model. In addition to her, we also have the reruns of popular Valkyrie type VAL0 Pretty Prime with Mirror Guard, Sword, Freeze, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Dead or Alive. Now between these two models, you're probably picking up on a pattern here if you've been a seasoned Medarotter for a good bit of time now. A Nurse type and a Valkyrie type, where have we seen that combination before? Well, hold on to that thought and those ideas for just a minute because all will be revealed, but I guarantee you are probably on the right track as you kick in with that. Charles de Nurse, on the other hand, as you see, has a very diverse kit, but certainly is befitting that of the Nurse series that she does hail from. Other popular models include Saint Nurse and even Holy Nurse or so on, or even the most recent model from Medarot 8, that is Lyrical Nurse, who is still yet to officially make a debut into Medarot S. In addition to these two, we also have a rerun of the popular car type and one of the OG Transformers of the games, CAR-0 Land Motor, with a kit of Radar Sight, Double Anti-Air, Wheeled Legs, and the leg ability of Primacy. Now, Land Motor also is capable of transforming into a vehicle like car mode, or toy car I guess you could call it, exchanging his kit for Missile, Shoot Boost, Mobile Boost, but maintains Wheeled Legs and the Primacy leg ability. So honestly, compared to the previous models we have in other weeks, such as, say, the anime Grand Slam last week, or the anime versions of Medley and Rokusho in particular, nothing overly game-breaking or powerful or really worth pushing for this week, in my humble opinion. But healers are healers, and that already is grounds for making a pull or two towards her worthwhile, so that you have those parts in your library at any given time. If none of these three models particularly seem to impress you for whatever reason, that's fine. Just bear in mind that you can still keep pushing for the anime versions of Medley and Rokusho, but you have until early December before those banners close. So heads up on that, and best of luck if you are still looking to try to pull for them. With the Fierce battles we have this week, it is also going to be relatively lower key this week, which I think will be a very nice moment of respite, given that I feel things are going to really start amping up next week as we get closer to Medarot Day officially. But on that note, for the Fierce battles, we have a number of bots we have not seen for a good couple months now at minimum. And starting that lineup is BRA0 Land Brachio with Anti-Air, Double Beam, Tank Legs, and the leg ability of Bullet Rain. Behind him, we have CCD0 Semi-Cicade with Melee Trap, double break, flight legs, and the leg ability of Nest. And last but not least, CLB-002 side move with Hammer, Guard, Conceal, Sea legs, and the leg ability of Explorer. So honestly, again, not a lot of very overly powerful or game-breaking models this week, which is very nice in the moment of respite. But all three models that we have for the Fierce Battles this week are still worth farming one way or another for the very diverse set of skills that they bring to their disposal. Even if a lot of their damage bonuses are relatively conditional, I guess for lack of a better term, between Semi-Cicade's Break for heavy punish or Land Brachio's Anti-Air for flight-based legs, they are still very well worthwhile to have and hold on to just in case you need them, because it's often better to be well armed and not have the rifle on hand than it is to need the rifle and not have it. But with that being said, I still would have to give the MVP of the week to Semi-Cicade this week, given that Break is usually a little more diverse and easier to use, and a lot friendlier to anyone that does need to put it on the team, especially given that neither of his arms are heavy, and the heavy punish is always an open addition and a welcome addition to any team that they're put on. Because even if you're not punishing the weight, you still get a success bonus relative to Metaforce Charge, which does tie into your likelihood of a crit chance, making it just a little bit more painful the higher your success goes. Now with event stuff this week, again, as you guys have been probably anticipating the pattern between a Nurse type and a Valkyrie type, you are most certainly going to be on the right track, and that is this week we are going to be highlighting specifically on Little Miss Karen, our rich redheaded girl of the series, that has had an exclusive specialty in the Nurse series pretty much ever since her official debut back in Medarot 2. So this week there's going to be a lot of special daily events and daily missions as you see here. Daily missions as in you go in, one and done, you're finished, and daily missions, same thing. Just a couple extra chores you can do in your game when you log in and do your dailies. Complete a fierce battle, color a part, change your BGM, fight an online PvP, and so on and so forth. Very easy stuff, but a very easy way to basically get free ruby shards that you can use to stock up on and hold on to for emergency rubies when really big models such as the anime versions come out and you really need to start pulling into your cache and your history so that you can make use of every ruby you have at your disposal. On topic of other stuff related to and centering around Miss Karen this week, we are also getting a specialized Super Invasion being officially added to the master list as well, also highlighting her in the entirety of the Nurse series, or at least ones that have been currently available in the game thus far, which is mostly as a current Saint Nurse and now Charles de Nurse as well, that officially have been graced in the game. Now there are still a number of other nurses we are missing, such as Picardy Nurse from 5, Lyrical Nurse from 8, or even Holy Nurse is the original from Medarot 1. So who's to say that we may or may not see them as new faces in here, or they may save them for another week down the road, who knows? But very likely, pay attention to that for the modifiers. I am highly expecting for this one, given that they specialize in a lot of guards, that Destroy will be prohibited in at least one of these missions, so do be prepared for that. Possibly bring some Deathlock or some Defense Seal along to keep that on the keep that off the docket, and so that you can help keep them on the ropes and keep them from being able to tank blows without being able to break them. Lastly, like I said, there wasn't a lot of major news this week in terms of stuff announced on the channel because, again, they're probably taking this as a respite week. But one of the other big pieces of news they talked about is, as for those that are in the loop, the last while and the last year or so, they have been officially airing one episode of the Medarot anime on their official channel once a week for the last year. The final episode will be aired on Monday, 11/27, leading up to Medarot Day. But highlight on that, to celebrate leading up to this final episode and the anniversary officially, they will be re-releasing all 52 episodes of the anime on their channel for 1 day, day and a half, 2 days only, between 11/25 and 11/26. So do bear in mind that if you did want to catch up on those, or if you missed a couple, this is your only opportunity to pick them up before they get delisted once again. Because when a new episode goes up every week, they take the old one down. But something else to mention on these as well is that they are natively Japanese dubbed with no English sub. So do bear that in mind and keep that at the forefront of your mind if you are going to watch them. But it is still good to be able to keep it in mind and at the forefront and just kind of enjoy what the series was like before it got redubbed into something that we all know and love today. One other thing from the community itself is, even though the official Ori Meta contest has ended on Twitter, and they did confirm that on Medarot Day 11/28, the Metatubers, Shushu2, Leah2, and Cheerful2 will be joining that for a very special long stream to go over the winners and officially announce them as to which 3 bots we made into official models in the game. Now, if you feel that you're down and out because you missed the contest, don't fret, because here at Project Rising Beetle, we still have one contest that is ongoing for 1 more week. On 11/21, next week at time of recording on November 14th, our contest will officially close so that I can deliberate winners of our own personal contest and announce them on my channel pretty much on the same day that Medarot does theirs with the official contest. Now, I have not seen a lot of entries, and I'm not harping on anybody, I'm not upset or anything, but I am kind of bummed because I would like to see a big flux of entries and such leading up to the deadline of our contest, because with the last contest through the summer, I basically had to crunch them all into that week's video, and that was fine and all. There was a lot of wonderful designs there, but I want to see so many designs like that, like we have been seeing with the participation on the official channel, where I basically have to devote a whole video just to looking over them all and reviewing each one and what I like before I have to officially deliberate on winners on Medarot Day here on the MNN. So again, this is your final call as one week remains on that contest, so no real rush just yet, but do make sure you get that submission of yours in sooner or later. Rules are listed here as you see, but also in our official community Discord as well if you need feedback on that. On topic of the community going forward, we are still always looking for translators to assist us with any translation endeavors or projects. Right now, Medarot 3 is tentatively 100% finished, as I did announce last week. Mostly just a lot of grammar fixes and cleaning up to do, and mostly just 1 or 2 more menus that need finished before everything is 100% done, and Medarot 3 can be officially labeled as complete as a fully fan-translated EN game. We would love to start working on other titles like Medarots 4 and 5 and Navi and so on, or even the newer titles like DS, 7, 8, or 9, but we need translators and we need manpower to do so. That being said, if you are knowledgeable in coding or cleaning or Japanese and have some time on your hands, or know someone who would maybe possibly want to give a hand, definitely reach out to me or join our Discord in the link provided below. We can get you in touch with the right people to fill you in on what has been done and what still needs done up to this point, because we have a lot of projects we want to work on, but not a lot of people to assist with those projects, unfortunately. Now, at the weekly art highlights here on the MNN, once again, I am highlighting some of my favorite designs that were showcased and submitted for the official contest, as I have been in previous weeks. This one here by this Twitter user decided to go for the Excalibur motif of the sword and the stone, and I really like the creativity behind this one. It looks like a regal king, or like a knightly king and so on that you'd expect of Quest for Camelot and Knights of old, which is really creative for sure. But I also really like that they also implemented the sword and the stone motif and theme in there as well, which is also popular with Camelot lore and mythology and history. So very creative take on that, especially making the leg cape there, the turn into the stone and the body as the sword. Very creative, and I really like what you did. Wonderful work on that one. And then this user here that did a toy battleship or a toy destroyer ship type, as you see here. We actually have had a number of boat or ship types that have been done in the past. Auto Cruise from 3 is a canonical version, is a canonical model that already is one technically, but isn't really as known. But this one here being a toy battleship or a toy destroyer type, I really like the true toy factor that's in here. You have the ship and the floodlight and the smokestack there with the head, the torpedoes and the anti-air guns on the left, on the right and left arms, and the rotor and the rudders there for the legs, slightly pushed forward like they're floating, or even hovering on the ground like they'd be a sea leg. I really like the creativity of this one as well. And of course, the white and grays for the traditional navy or naval color that you'd expect battleships or navy uniforms to look like. Wonderful work to this one as well. Definitely give both of these artists a follow if you'd like to see more of their art in your usual Twitter feeds, to see more Medarot as a whole grace your feeds as you scroll. But with that being said, I do believe that covers pretty much everything for this week's episode. Like I said, not a whole lot of stuff to cover this week because this is kind of a respite week, kind of very likely leading up to a higher ampage and higher hype that we're getting the closer we get to the anniversary in 2 weeks. But that is still far from the end of the MNN and the official Medarot channel and their announcements. But with that being said, if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page, or the Metabots Forever community on there that I do also run and manage when I can. That community is currently over 2.2k members, and I'm very, very proud to see how well and how highly it's been growing. Just like it has been our Discord channel, which is in the link to in the comments below, as I mentioned. And the Discord is the best place you're going to hear any news before it goes anywhere else. This includes any new merchandise, weekly episodes, fan art, episodes from my channel, or announcements, or translation updates, or anything whatever. The Discord's going to be the first place you hear it before it goes anywhere else whatsoever. So definitely give us both a follow on both these places, or one of these places, whichever you prefer, to stay in the know and an ear to the ground on anything related to our favorite robots. You can also reach out to me personally on Twitter at Itagami-Kura, so if you have any questions, or feedback, or comments, or would love just to stop in and say hello, I leave my DMs open on Twitter for this very reason, so don't be a stranger, stop on in and say hello, and I'd be more than happy to get back to you when I can. In addition to this, if you are a streamer, VTuber, or YouTuber and would love to collaborate sometime, I would absolutely love to do so. So definitely reach out to me in those DMs so we can coordinate a time, whether that means having you here with me on my channel as a guest host, or me stopping in on yours for a friendly chat or a game or whatever. I would love to make something happen, so reach out to me and we can try to do some coordinating and see what works best for both of us, or groups of us if there's more than one of you. Lastly, do give these wonderful friends of mine a follow in the community as well. This user here, Twitter user EXC_co, who is another streamer, VTuber, much like I am on YouTube, but does a lot of Medarot streams on their channel as well, whether it be playing the older games or even regular grinding daily sessions in Medarot S or PvP. Wonderful person, very friendly, and definitely loves what they do. Definitely give them a follow and show your support for our friends in the Medarot community. Do also give Twitter user TrickerXG250 a follow as well on Twitter, who is another one of the resident artists of the Medarot community, who has done a lot of wonderful art, whether that be custom Ori metas or fan art of existing models in the past. I have done a couple of his models before that he's done of Ori metas, such as his Kurojiri styled KBT type that I posted on my channel a while ago, a Santa Mate model I believe that was also his. Wonderful work, definitely give them a follow as well if you'd like to see more art in your feed. But with that all being said, I do appreciate you all for stopping by just as you always do, and until next time, this is your host, Kura Itsugami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.